It's the Al Travis Show, and sometimes I get to meet just the most fascinating folks, and for no particular reason, I just get lucky. And this would be one of those times. I've got United States Air Force Colonel Dr. Josh McConkey with me. Sir, thank you for being here. You're an interesting doc. I wanted you on. We're going to talk about what happened in Venezuela, and I'm glad you're here for that. Then as we're just chatting, getting ready to go on, you mentioned that Governor Tim Walz was your teacher back in the day. Is that true?
Yes, yes. I grew up in Alliance, Nebraska. It's a very small town in western
Yep.
Nebraska. And Tim Walz is from West Point, small town in
Hmm.
Nebraska. His very first job out of college was rural western Nebraska out there in Alliance. He was my teacher for world geography and sociology when I was a freshman and then maybe a junior or senior, actually. And I was in his wife's English class for 3 days and English
For
class.
3 days. What?
3 days. It did not go well. So okay, imagine this is rural western Nebraska.
Yep.
Like read the room.
Yep.
Okay. She had a life-size cardboard cutout of Hillary Clinton in the back of her class.
Oh,
So this is
and
my
you spoke
sophomore
up.
year. Well, I made some comments, and
Okay.
man, we talk about these early days of indoctrination for students.
Hmm. Yeah.
Man, it was really inappropriate, and I know nothing. I'm a sophomore. I was
Yeah.
really uncomfortable. I went to the principal, and I got switched into Mrs. Nelson's class, actually.
Let,
But
let me ask you this then. First blush with Mrs. Walz, not so good much. How was Governor Walz? You had him for a couple classes. He wasn't governor. How was Teacher Walz? Did you enjoy him?
oh, he was a fantastic teacher.
Okay.
He's very
That's fair.
engaging, just an amazing teacher. He was a football coach,
Hmm.
and clearly just something changed. We all knew the political leanings of his wife. He didn't talk too
Yeah.
much politics at all. And then you follow later. I actually ran into him again at a national security conference when I was
Oh,
a
wow.
colonel in the military. I was a lieutenant colonel at the time, and met up with him just because I had remembered him from school, and he was in Congress. I think he was
Yeah.
a 3 or 4 term congressman, and got to
Yep.
meet with him. And boy, after that, he just took those hard left turns, and what he's done at governor is just shocking. We all see the
The
issue
difference.
of fraud and all that now, but wow.
Yeah. Things they haven't changed. But I appreciate you casually mentioned that just before we go on. I'm like, this is such a small world. What I want to bring in for was Venezuela, what's going on. Give us you wrote the book, The Heart of a Leader, and we'll talk a little bit about that because I know the people that hooked us up would like that. But give me your background. You're a colonel. Give us where you've been, what you've done. Give me your background on why you can talk about Venezuela.
So I spent 9 years in the Army National Guard. Was a flight surgeon, air crew, flew a lot of medevac, had a combat tour in Iraq in 2007, and was the battalion surgeon. I did the planning,
Okay.
and partook in a air assault mission under night vision goggles at 3 o'clock in the morning
Wow.
on the jump seat of a Chinook helicopter. And when you talk about the planning and the risks that go into night operations alone, and then you
Yep.
turn that into a full air assault mission, and this one in Venezuela, 150 aircraft. People don't realize how risky
Yep.
that is. So we're not talking about the small arms fire and the air defenses for Venezuela, just that many aircraft operating in a confined space. With night vision goggles, you have these little monocular
Yep.
vision, and it's very narrowed field of vision. Everything is coordinated. Every turn is coordinated. For us, we had to fly 090 heading, so due east after dropping off 45 Cav guys to go take down some bad dudes and actually
Hmm.
extricate some Al Qaeda and insurgent leadership. And there was an anti-aircraft weapon just due east of that landing zone, and you got to fly over it, because if you
Yep.
go another direction, there's aircraft all around you. You're gonna cause a crash. This was in 2007 when they shot down 7 aircraft in a 2-week span. So they killed a flight surgeon, Colonel Allgood, about 2 weeks before I got there. So it was just a crazy experience. It's very risky. The way they executed this operation with such absolute surgical um, precision, it's mind-boggling. I'm so proud to wear the uniform. I've served as a medical director for special operations for PJs and pararescue. And when you see this level of an operation, no one else on the planet can pull that off. It's absolutely amazing.
You should keep bringing the surgeon. You're a doctor of what kind? You're a surgeon?
Yeah, I'm
An
an
actual
emergency
surgeon?
doctor. Yeah, so I'm an emergency physician, fellowship boarded in EMS, disaster medicine,
Okay. Out of
aviation.
where? Give us some of your doctor background.
Yeah, so I went to school with Shattern State College, the same school as,
Okay.
as Tim Walz.
All right.
Shattern State College. and then went to medical school at University of Nebraska, trained in Akron, Ohio for emergency medicine, and then did a lot of work with the military, special operations, medevac, and fellowship boarded in EMS, was a Duke professor for quite a while. And now I serve in the Air Force Reserves. Just finished my command tour at Andrews Air Force Base, and I now do emergency management in Washington, D.C. for the Joint Task Force.
All right, you don't look all that old. So 23 years in the service. You started out at 18. I mean, you've been in the service your entire adult life?
Let me see, I joined in 2000, so it's probably about 23. And, there was a little break in service between the Army and the Air Force. So I'll be 48. I hope I don't look that old, but I'm getting close to 50 now.
All right, fair enough. And then when did you write the book? The Heart of the Leader, by the way, if you're on the Al Travis Show YouTube page, in the description, I put down weightbehindthespear.com. That is your website, I take it?
Yes, sir. That's WEIGHT, Weight Behind the Spear.
Weight Behind the Spear. And you can get The Heart of a Leader. Tell me a little bit about the book.
So, the very first book was Be the Weight Behind the Spear. As a military commander and as an emergency doctor, I just saw a whole generation of Americans that were struggling. So anxiety, depression, and then as an ER doctor, I see a lot of suicides. And these kids just lack resiliency skills. And I saw the same thing as a commander. So I wrote that book to try to get people to engage their communities, build up these kids for leadership. I figured out very quickly, it is really hard to teach a 20-year-old kid some of those basics if they've had nothing. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of push-ups, and it's hard work. So I wrote a children's book series. This is an 8-book series, the first book of which, The Heart of a Leader. And this is how we teach our kids. 4 to 9 years old is that perfect age range to teach accountability and leadership skills and building resiliency skills. So the earlier we get involved, the better. It's already done well. It's the Mom's Choice Awards. It's been nominated for a few other awards, and super proud of that.
Oh, that's outstanding. You just did that in between being in the reserves and, doctoring up. So that's all you just found some
I stay
time.
very busy. Got a wife and 3 kids. We're doing lots of basketball as well. But,
How
you
old
make
are the
time
kids?
I've got twin 13-year-olds, so Alex and Gabe. And then my son turns 15 here in days.
3 boys, congratulations. There's a haul through high school. I had 3 boys as well. And literally, my youngest has graduated, but became a coach now.
Right.
And he was in town last night, so I had to go watch basketball, high school basketball, and none of the kids did I know, but I knew the coach, so I have to go.
That's fantastic.
You're in for a run, my friend.
Yeah, so I've got one daughter in there too. So it's boy-girl twins for the 13-year-old.
Okay. Fair enough. I've got to go to break real quick. If you stick with me, we'll talk about what happened in Venezuela and that, but I appreciate you being here. He is Colonel or Dr. Josh McConkey on the Al Travis Show. More right after this. It's the Al Travis Show. I've got him, Dr. or Colonel Josh McConkey on the Al Travis Show. You can get his book, The Heart of a Leader. Go to WEIGHT behindthespear.com. All right, Doc, it was fascinating, and we're only getting, maybe the 150, we're only getting those 5,000-foot looks at what happened so far. When we find out and they do the movie on this, I think people will be dumbfounded by what it takes to fly. Just the night vision glasses. I'm a whole lot older than you. The first division of those night vision glasses, I can't imagine when the firing happened that these guys didn't go blind. Back in my day, it had to be pitch black. I mean, you couldn't have anything. If you stared at the moon, you're going to lose your eyeballs when you use those night vision. I know they've come a long ways, but this wasn't as just peaceful. There were many Cuban nationalists that were on the protection team that did pass. There was gunfire. There was a lot going on here. It wasn't just, and again, 150 ships. I don't know if anybody, or planes, I don't know if anybody can imagine that, what that looks like.
That is quite an armada. When you talk the rotor ring, all the helicopters, then your fast movers, your jet aircraft running and doing the air defenses, taking out the air defenses for Venezuela, protection, the fighter jets, the naval ships and aircraft. It's a sight to behold. And you see some of the video that people have been releasing on social media. Man, like I said, having been a part of one myself, and I did hear one special operator on a podcast this morning just say how jealous he was, like just professional jealousy. This is a mission that everyone wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
I mean, you're taking out a bad dude doing bad things, and you just swoop into his house, black bag him, and drag him off in a helicopter. Unbelievable.
And for folks I under the impression there were 2 Americans hurt. No one died as far as Americans are. They're hurt, but a lot of why and how if it's gunfire. I don't know if we know any of that yet. But maybe on the political sides, I ask you this, as I understand it, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't know that you are either, but you've been in this. This wasn't a military operation in that, as I understand it, was a police force assist with 150 aircraft. The World Organization came down with a ruling against Manuel Noriega and said, hey, you're a bad guy. You're in for this, this, and this. We had indictments for all of these other things.
In 1990, yeah.
Yeah, so the idea that we went and got him and brought him back, the people are saying we invaded Venezuela. I don't see it that way. We went and got a really bad guy off the street, and he's going to be in jail, and he's going to have to stand trial. But that's what the world court said. Am I right here? Am I wrong? Do you follow the political version of this enough? Am I in the ballpark here?
Yeah, you are correct there. So this is very well established, and this is, this is bipartisan. They want to spin this so many different ways. The Biden administration indicted him, the president of Venezuela, in March of 2020. They were so concerned about what he was doing, the loss of life in the United States, all the narco terrorism charges, they levied a $25 million reward for his capture. And so it's very clear. Both the Biden administration and the Trump administration, 2 consecutive administrations, had concerns for national security issues. And our current national security advisors and the president of the United States felt that this was the right time to take him down and bring him in to justice. I mean, this was a police operation. The FBI was involved on this, certainly some CIA as well, and military. So this was a big joint operation. And this is just bringing someone to justice that's murdered over 3,000 of his own people. There's 8 million people displaced around the world. You talk humanitarian crisis. And then just the narco terrorism charges alone. I think most people really understand that this was a very good thing.
Well, do they, or if you follow on media, all these social media, all these people saying he's doing it for his oil buddies. This is how I understand the oil portion of this. And I think we have 3 tankers so far in this trial about Noriega and him dumping on American companies. American companies built the oil fields there. He drove them out, broke their agreement, and the World Organization, this judicial court, ruled in favor of the American oil companies, and they owe us, if you will, owe them 300 billion gallons of oil. Some weird number.
Yeah, so President,
that's 300 tankers.
Yeah, we're talking about President Maduro, but
certainly,
President Maduro, it's almost as if he sabotaged their own natural resources. So they have the #1 oil reserves, natural gas reserves, tremendous amounts of gold. But it's the poorest. It's one of the poorest countries in all of South America. So 25 years of dictator rule, just pillaging and just torturing and killing his own people. And then you get all these alliances with China and Russia and Iran. There's a Hezbollah training center in Venezuela. That's on our back doorstep. Yeah. That should make everyone extremely concerned. And when you see the left spinning this, it's most people see through that. Most reasonable people see through that. If President Trump cured cancer, that part of the left would just rail on him about how many jobs he's taking away from oncologists and hospitals and pharmaceutical companies. It's bizarre. Most people, reasonable people, when you look at the facts of this, clearly see that this was in our best national security interests. We need a strong strategic partner with those oil reserves. Yes, that has a part to play because that's our national security. I want to see the Venezuelan people prosper from that and grow from that and become our great allies because the current administration with Maduro, it was all China, Russia, and Iran, and that is no good.
Thank you for the correction on the Maduro thing. Real quick for the last 2 minutes, is it America's problem now? You take out Maduro, they do have a lieutenant or gal that has stepped up and taken the pledge. Is it ours to make sure this goes in the right direction, or do we take what we wanted? We got him, and now we'll see what happens. We'll decide what happens next. Are we in charge of what happens in Venezuela?
So that is our responsibility now. You can't go in and destabilize and take down a leader unless you are going to be prepared to do what's necessary to get them back in the right direction. There's a lot that goes into that. It's extremely complicated. People act like it's not been done before. We did this in Panama in 1990. They've been extremely successful. Panama is very stable. And when you look at the overall humanitarian crisis, those 8 million people displaced, all of our immigration issues that we've been dealing with, some of the Venezuelan gangs, that's what we're talking about. If you stabilize where they're coming from and make it prosperous, they don't leave. So this is in our national security interests. This is in our illegal immigration interests. On so many fronts, this is a positive thing. And when you look at the Venezuelan people celebrating in the streets, this is the most hope they've had in 25 years. Talk with any Venezuelan. I would challenge you to find a Venezuelan who isn't happy with this result.
Sir, I appreciate it. We run out of time. It goes by too quick. I do appreciate you coming on the program. He's Colonel Dr. Josh McConkey. His book is The Heart of a Leader. Go take a look at it. Weight Behind the Spear, WEIGHT. Sir, I thank you for taking the time and your people reaching out to me. I'm glad to have you on the show. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure. We'll get back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere. Nothing if you're not here.